mea hanga tēnei tōku whare. Ko rangi nui e titiro I honei te tua nui ko papatū ānuku te paparahi ko ngā maunga ngā paupau. Pūhanga tohora titiro ki te ramaroa. Te ramaroa titiro ki whiria te paiaka o te riri te kawa o rāhiri. Whiria titiro ki panguru ki papatā ki te rākau e tū papata maira I te hau āuru. Panguru papatā titiro ki maunga taniwha titiro ki Tokerau, Tokerau titiro ki rākau mangamanga. Rākau mangamanga titiro ki manaia titiro ki tūtāmoe titiro ki maunga nui titiro ki pūhanga tohora. Nau mai, haere mai, e kare mai ki tā tātai pāpāhotanga. Ngā whakataitai Waka Ama āmotu hoi roa e nei, e tū nei ki te pē whairangi ki Waitangi nei. E mātakitaki mai ana koutou I ngā hoi ngā takitahi, taki rua, taki toru, e puta nei ki we moana I tēnei wā nei, kau tēnei ko mataia kepa e pāpāho atu nei ki a koutou I tēnei wā, mai I tā tātou taiwhanga I konei I Waitangi, me te aha e waimari ana tātou I tētahi o tātou matamata huanga, e noho nei, hei waiwai, kia mātaki ai tātou, kia rongo ai hoki tātou, I ngā ahatanga I te moana I tēnei wā nei, kāti, kia whakawhitiake tātou ki aia I tēnei wā nei, hei te karanga tuahine hina, kei reira koe hina, what's the weather like where you are?
Hina cute to you.
Kia ora e te iwi. Aloha nui mai ka kou o au keia o Hina, coming to you live from the beach in beautiful Waitangi. It is a stunning day today. We're hoping Tamanui Te Rā comes out because it's a little makariri, but that hasn't stopped anyone from making it here today. As you can see, our paddlers have all just left the start line. Of whānau and friends here to Tautoko, all of them. So we'll be bringing you more here from the beach in a few minutes. Kia ora.
Ai, nau mai e kare mara rau mai, e ki te ake ana koutou ko ngā rehi I tēnei wānei ko ngā rehi takitahi, W1, W2, W3s, anō hoki, engari ko ngā taumata o te hoi I tēnei wānei ko te hunga ai raro I hoi te tekauma ono, tekauma ua mo taku he Masters Open, Senior Masters, Golden Masters, Masters 70s. Ko ngā waka e ki tēnei koutou I enei wānei, he waka urungi, arā he rara, he waka urungi kore, raraless. I tēnei wānei, kāru te mōhio koe e wikitori ana, engari e ki te ake ana koutou kei mua ia I tēnei wānei tuarua mai ana tētahi kātatāna ki aia ko te toinga o te māpu, kei muri no atu. E hara I te mea pirangi ana kia ki au, he matakite, he poropiti rānei, engari me he mea kei konei a tupu king rānei, me he mea kei konei rānei e te heo ngā kai hoi o manukau, ka ore kore ko rātou kei te wikitoria. Engari e ki te ake ana koutou e papa paunamu ana te moana, I tēnei wā, e hara I te mea he pai tērā mo ngā kai hoi. Nā te mea e noho ana ko rātou ua o rātou hoa, me he mea I te hingarungaru, kua māma ake e rā hoinga, engari I tēnei wānei ki taku mōhio, e ki te mai ana koutou, ko tupuria king tērā, kei mua, nōna kua nei kaunua I tai tuarua mai rā ia I ngā whakataitai ao, ko te mea I tai tuatahi mai ko tērā e tuarua mai ana ki aia I tēnei wānei, ko Casey Ngātaki. Nō reira, e kare mā e ko te toa o te ao tēnei ki te toa o te motu. Ko rāua ene e hoi ana I ngā whakataitai Waka Ama hoiroa ā motu. Tuatahi mai ana ki taku titiro ko Casey Ngātaki. Engari ka noho pēr koe nei te tino pakanga I tēnei whakataitai, me ngā whakataitai poto ka tū ki karāpiro hei te tau hou. Engari kia tō waitia noatia tērā kōrero e kare mā ko te World Champion tēnei, ko Casey Ngātaki, ko te National Champion tēnei, ko Tupuria King. Ka noho pēr koe nei te whakataitai e kite ai tātou ko ai te tino o rāua. Tīmatanga pai tērā, I roto I te ao Māori e ki ana ngā momo hoinga he tia, he ranga rāne. E tia, e ranga. Ko ngā tia he hoi poto, he hoi tere, ko ngā ranga he hoi roa. Ki taku mōhio I tahiti e ki ana e rā, he rave, he hūti rānei. Ko tai rātou ki ngā hūti. Hei te pirangi kia maimoa tia ngā kaha, nā te mea tēnei rehi nei. Ki taku mōhio e kare mā he rehi waru kilomita. No reira, me pena te kaha ka tika. Engari, kei te kite mai koutou, kei te takiwā pēr Ko tahirau pēa waka, ko tahirau rima te kau pēa waka, kei wahora. Ko te nuinga o ngā waka he whai waa, he mea hoko rawa i Tahiti. I te wā iau e pakeke ana, he kauri, he tōtara ngā momo waka, e harakau. Engari he surf rigger, he sea horse, engari ko ngā momo waka i ene wānei no Tahiti rawa, he whai waa. Engari, kia whakawhiti ake tātou ki te waka, ki tētahi o tātou poti, kei te moana i tēnei wānei kia pai ai tā tātou rongo i ngā kare awaho o tēnei hākina. Kāti kia whakawhiti ake tātou.
Welcome everyone. So the race has started, and at the moment we've got Tupu and Casey leading. So Tupuria King and Casey Ngātaki, they're taking off in the lead. They're in the open men's division, and we've got about 40 to 50 other V1 paddlers trailing in behind, as you can see. Just in front of us we can see George Thomas going along. But it looks like it's going to be a good battle. At the moment there's just a 5-knot southerly wind, there's not much out there, and they're heading 4k's out to the first turn marker before they turn back and head back in to do a second lap.
tātai mātanga no konei no tēnei takiwā hei te pāpā Ralph Luka tēnā koe.
Ai, tēnei te hukianga e mihi ana kia koutou.
feeling each other out at the moment. I just saw Tupu catch a little bit of a wave that was there, and he was trailing a little bit behind Casey, but he used that wave to get back up ahead, and now you can see Casey's pushed back up and they're dead even again. We're just coming up to the first turn. They're 100 metres away from the turn. Casey's on the inside line, so Casey might have a bit of an advantage where you get a boat length ahead going around the turn. So this is all good looking good for Casey. But yeah, they're going to be battling the whole way, the whole 16 Ks, I think, by the looks of this. It's going to be interesting to see who has energy to sprint at the finish.
Kia ora, kia ora, kia ora, tēnā koutou. Ai, tēnā koutou te whānau. Ko hono mai. Ia, ka pai.
All good? All right, so yeah, just up here in the blue top and the yellow hat, we've got Bryce Irving. So he is the last year's national champ for long distance. He's based down in Queenstown, but he's having a good battle here with Jono Smith. He's an open paddler, but just behind these two, we have Mark Malaki Williams from Manukau. He is sitting in second place for the Master Division. And then just behind him in the yellow canoe there, we have Simon Wolfgram. So we've got first, second and third for the Master Division very close, paddling together. It's going to be interesting to see who can take out this race between these three. So again, we're coming up to a turn buoy again, so Bryce looks like he's on the inside, so he's going to have a little bit of an advantage over Jono, and Mark possibly might sneak up on the inside of Jono coming up into the turn and make a bit of ground on Jono so that he can keep the Masters battle going between Mark and Bryce. And yeah, Simon will be hoping not to be left out. He'll be trying to hang with these two.
Nau mai hoki mai e karema ki tā tātou pāpāhotanga kei konei tētahi o te haukainga tonu, tētahi no te krapu o te pūao a heitaka pāpā Ralph, tēnā koe.
Tēnā koe te whānau, tēnā koutou, mōre nā tamāre kia koutou, a koutou ko huna mai tēnei o ngā pāopāho e mihena kia koutou.
Ka pai, mātakitaki ake ana tātou i a tupu rāua ko Casey Ngātaki i tēnei wānei. Koe nei rānei ngā wai i whakaharatau, i whakangungu ai a tupu kei te mōhio ia ki e nei wai?
I etahi wai e mohiana e ia ki te hoi marungi tēnei o ngā wai. Ka hāna koe e engari, aha ko te wai, nāna tētahi o ngā rangatira marungi te wai ni.
Tēnā whakai ana ki tērā. Now, if we take a close look to this race, we have the World Champ and the National Champ. If we're to break it down, their expertise really lies in the short distance. But in this long distance, we're probably going to see who the better one of the two are.
Yeah.
And Casey Ngātaki and Tupu King, what's your ato pānuitanga i tēnei rei?
Ai, tika ana. We know Tupu's been doing a little bit of paddling in Hawaii. Just flew back in last week. So, you know, they're well known for their long distance racing over there. So he would have done some training over there with the Hawaiians. But definitely, you know, he's got a young gun there right at his side, as you can see. And but they'll be just, I know Tupu will just be just looking for those big long strokes at the moment and maintaining that pace. E rua ngā rauna for tēnei reihi, so aye.
So can you give us a little breakdown on who's all in this race and how long these races are? Because I think I made mention of the 8K earlier, but I think that's just for a specific category.
Tika ana. So we have at the moment, we have our open men's, our senior men's, which is a masters, senior masters and master 70s. We also have our junior 19 men out there, and they are all in the va'a, the rudderless canoes, and you'll see most of them are you know, our Tahitian style va'a. So that's who we're looking at the moment is our tāne race at the moment, and we have our in the next race our wahine with the ruddered races. So aye.
What do you think's going on in their minds at the moment? Is it a case of let me get ahead of him, or should I wait for the next round, or what's your breakdown of it?
Yeah, I think, you know, they'll be just thinking
rumbling.
About sticking, you know, staying with each other and just maintaining their pace, making sure they're not using too much energy until that probably that last 5Ks maybe, and then they'll start kicking in and seeing who's been doing the work.
Yeah. Right. Now, if you're to wear your papahuri here hat, we're 21 minutes at the moment. At about what time do you think we'll be watching both Casey and Tupu making it home?
16 kilometres, I think probably around the 40-minute mark. Ooh. Yeah. So, you know, they're pretty quick, and you can see the distance they've already created just in that, you know, they're coming down to that first round. So you'll see the distance they've created already just in that short space of time of 20 minutes.
Nā e kare mai kia whakawhitia ki tātou ki te poti, ki tā tātou kai pāpāho kia Paul Rosendale, kei wahora kia rongoa ki ai tātou, kia pā ai tātou ki te mauri o tēnei rehi. Crossing over to the boat, over to you, Paul.
Do some more commentary.
Okay.
Flick over to us, and I'll give you a cue when Toa's ready. Flick over.
Yeah. We've had half of the men's division go through now. We're just coming up to the end lot. Everyone's still looking pretty decent. The conditions are favourable for them. It's nice and easy. Nice and calm, so it's just whoever's done the fitness, whoever's done the work, they'll be able to get them through the finish line. But just back at the other turn, boy, we do have another start group that's coming. The women are coming along in the OC1 division, OC1s and OC2s, I believe. They will not be too far away. They may even catch some of these men's guys in the V1.
Paul Rosendale, tētahi o ngā kai hoi o te kapa Mean DNA Team Goodyear. Toki anō hoki roto I ngā rehi, nā ko tana I rāmutu tētahi kaori konei, ko Ash Rosendale. Mehemei konei ia, he would have been on the tail end of these two, or maybe neck and neck with them, but we're watching from te pē whairangi here, Waitangi here, and we're very fortunate to have a papa from the Hau Kāinga here with us, Ralph Ruka. Koe nei, te kāinga I haina tia I te wakaputanga me te tiriti o Waitangi. Heha e tai paku hitori o tēnei takiwa.
Ai, tikana e kōrero ai te whānau ki kona I ngā mahira, te tuatahi, I te ata, I ngā nahi nā ko te pōwhiri, mō ngā kaimahi, te hāpai o rātau I mahi ngā mahi mō te whakataitai nei. Hei I te pōahiahi nā, ka pōwhiringia I te nuinga o ngā whānau katoa ko taimai ngā kaihoi o Aotearoa, kei tēnā o ngā rohe katoa o Aotearoa. Engari, te maho o ngā kōrero e pāna ki tēnei o te mana o ngā whānau ki konei, te mana o te tiriti o Waitangi.
Tēnā koe. Now, if we take a close look to our Provisional Standings, Tupuria King 1, Casey Ngātaki 2, questionable. Jono, Bryce and Mark Malaki. Jono and Mark, to my understanding, are Masters paddlers, so they're doing well for their division. But Tupuria King, Tupuria has grown here in the far north. Engari, ko etahi o ngā whea ko hoi ia ki te aito, ki te super aito, ki te Molokai hoi, toa I roto I ngā rehi poto. Engari I nānei ki te ake ana tātou ia I roto I ngā rehi roa. Nā, kua rongo hoki rā tātou, kua puta ngā waka taki rua, me ngā waka taki toru. E ki te ana hoki, kua rongo rā hoki tātou ka tata pēr rātou ki tēnei hunga. Engari, kia ki te ake tātou ka pēhea te toinga o tēnei te kaumarima mineti. If you had to put your house on one of these two, who would it be on, Matua, Tupuria King or Casey Ngātaki?
Oh, I'm not sure I'll put my house on this one. You got the young, those young poo coming through like this, eh? But I know Tupu, he'll be just, maintaining, trying to just stay with Casey and maintaining, we know how he trains, we know how he thinks, and he'll be just wanting to sit there and utilise that energy, save that energy for that last kick, because I believe he'll possibly be doing the OC1 race straight after this as well. So.
Geez, well, one thing that surprises me, especially with our kaihoi no Tahiti, ko ngā mea e toki ana I roto I ngā hoi ngā poto, e toki ana hoki I roto I ngā hoi ngā roa, ne? Nā, I Tahiti, koe nei te whutupōro mō rātai, koe nei te whutupōro, engari tātou, kei te āhua noi ho te raumati, e hoi ai tātou, so it's actually give us props with regard to being competitive when it comes to paddling against Tahiti, because we only usually paddle during the summer periods.
Yeah.
So as we move into summer, and given this place is called the Winterless North, very wintry, I tēnei rangi nei, but you can see not only are they battling against each other, but there's the weather, the conditions actually not bad, but if you're to bring a Tahitian and a Hawaiian over here, they prefer a bit of waves. So this is more a fight of muscle.
Yeah.
And it's good to see that when it comes to muscle, both Casey and Tupu are quite even, but probably be a different layout if the waves were present.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, it's good conditions out there for our va'a at the moment, even though it's flat. It'll be pretty fast and suit our va'a out there on the water. So, yeah, they'll be looking to get some good times today. And as you can see, we have our OC2s out there as well with our wahine and our W3s. So, yeah, looking good out there.
Oh, te.
My name is Nahoku Helea Keahu Olu Jalnakia.
me moana e whakataitai ana ki a Casey Ngātaki, engari kātahi tonu i a kā hoki mai i Hawaii. Tēnā koena ki a mātakitaki ake tātou i etahi o ngā uiuinga ki etahi o tātou uri kei Hawaii. Mātakitaki mai.
I'm from Molokai, age 31, and currently paddling for Outrigger Canoe Club, and have been paddling since the age of 7.
First question, what was it like for you growing up and paddling in Molokai?
So every summer, my mom and my sisters and a lot of our friends and families during the summer we'd get together and we'd paddle on Molokai, and it would kind of be a summer thing.
Yeah.
And so I started paddling because my mom would paddle and my sister would paddle, and so it kind of became just like a family thing, an extended family thing. We had a lot of auntie moms, and so there's not a lot to do on Molokai, but during the summers, that's when every week we'd be spending a lot of time with the same people, much like we do here every season, but you know, it's more so because everybody knows each other and it's a generational thing.
Yeah.
So that was really special.
You know, you started paddling quite young in Molokai. Was that more sprint focused or long distance focused?
It was for the younger youth paddlers. We would do sprint regatta season just during the summer. And then for the adults, they would do the sprint season and then the long distance.
Yeah, I think that's pretty similar to us back home. Even myself, I started paddling pretty young, but it was only really sprint focused. We got a pretty heavy sprint focus back home. Not a lot of long distance, although over the years that's improved. When would you say you made that switch from, say, mainly focusing on states and sprints to that long distance racing?
So I started doing longer distances when I got to high school, but that was still only maxing out at about 6 miles.
Yeah.
But when I really got into long distance was after I finished high school and I was in college.
True.
And then I joined a team with the Open Women.
So did you go to, was that in Molokai or
That
wasn't
was
until you got
here.
to? Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Awesome. What would, for you, you know, how long have you been paddling now? For 20
something
years? Over your years paddling, what would be the most significant race for you here in Hawaii?
6-man race
Yep,
would be the Navahine o Kekai Clavey Channel crossing, for sure.
Yeah. How many times have you crossed that channel?
I've only done it 3 times.
True.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's surprising.
Yeah.
Nice. Kind of going off into a different kind of realm of paddling. How important is, say, upholding tradition within wa'a or paddling here in Hawaii for you?
I think when we talk about tradition, there's definitely things that we should keep, for sure. Remembering our history, our stories, and the culture in which paddling comes from in Hawaii. But if we're talking more so about canoe shape and all of that, I think it's very important for us to definitely honor those areas and especially reserve them for certain times of the season. But not necessarily stay confined within a box of tradition.
Yeah, for sure.
But definitely not lose it either.
Yeah.
I think it's finding that balance of respecting tradition and respecting culture and history, but also progressing with the times and what we're provided and what we're given as an opportunity.
Yeah, definitely. What are some of those things that you think can be merged with, say, high-end performance focused teams these days? Like, what things can you take, you know, things that have been here long before us, traditions, what things can we use now to actually and probably even enhance and make modern day paddling even better or stronger?
I think never really losing focus on kind of where they come from, where either if you're in Hawaii, like where the history of Hawaii paddling is, and then if you're going abroad, like also respecting that when you're abroad and you're in a different place, their paddling came from, you know, different stories and different histories and backgrounds. So definitely, like, as we progress, still making sure we're rooted and respecting wherever we're at, you know, the foundation that has been laid before us. I feel like that's definitely something that should not be lost as we progress, no matter if it's elite or recreational or, you know, first-time novices. I think, like, clubs have a responsibility, coaches have a responsibility, and then paddlers themselves have a responsibility to like know where it's originated from or where it's going.
Looking.
Ai, nei mai hoki mai e tātai mā, ki tā tātai pāpāhotanga ko ngā whakataitai hoiroa āmotu ene e tūnei ki Waitangi. Kātahi tonu tātou ka rongo ake i etahi o ngā mātauranga no tātou matamata huanga no tātou tuākana i Hawaii. Heoi anō, ladies and gentlemen, just at the moment, I think Tupu King and Casey Ngātaki are still ahead at this point in time, but kia whakawhiti noa ki tā tātou kaipāpāho kei te whenua, kei Wainganui i te hapori kia hina, hei te tuahine, what's the vibe like where you are? Mō taku he, kei hea rānei a hina, engari tēnei wānei ko te papāanga o te whatitiri. Kei te moana, we have Tupu King who has taken a brief lead here. Kua tata te toru te miniti e pakanga tahi ana rāua te ahua nei i Wikitoria te taha hinengaro o Tupu King. Engari ai rānei ka maitonu i aia tērā hei taku papa Ralph.
Ai, tika ana. Kei reirea here, kei mua Casey, young Casey there. And as you can see, you know, he's got that big long stroke going in, and they're on that second round now. So, you know, they'll be thinking about what strategies to use next. And I know, you know, privilege of coaching Tupu when in his younger days. Casey's beaten him before, you know, and he won't let him that happen again. That's good motivation for him. Aye.
Ai, ki taku mōheo ko ki te hina. If we can just cross over to Hina at the moment. Hina, what's the vibe like where you are?
I'll just ask you your name and what club you're
How
from.
many years
and
you
then
know?
I'll probably just... Kia ora tātou, I'm here on the beach with one of the paddlers who's here to tautoko his club, Ko Waitangi. And which club are you with?
Ko Whare Randall tōku ingoa. My club is Hoi Aroha o Whānau o Mawau. We're based in Tauranga at Mount Maunganui. Yeah, that's our club. So I'm here to tautoko that and compete this weekend.
Awesome. How many paddlers are out there on the water from your club right now?
Yeah, I was just adding up. We've got 7 crews of 6, and then we've got 8 crews that are doing singles and doubles. So we'd be close to 50 plus. So I'd say 58. Yeah.
Wow, that's a massive turnout, eh?
It's the best turnout we've had in decades. So it was a huge resurgence because probably COVID, we had nothing to do, and we've all been training for almost over a year for this.
Okay, you've done races like this before. Paddlers are rounding their first buoy, done their first lap. What would they be feeling at this point in the race?
Have I got enough gas to push the next lap? Where are my competitors? How am I feeling? And all those questions will be going through their mind at halfway point. Yeah.
Aye, koira. Well, thank you so much for talking to us today. Good luck to your paddlers out there.
Amen. Thank you. Kia ora.
So right now you can see Tupu's got a slight advantage over Casey. Tupu took the right-hand lane. Casey's decided to just move over to the left a little bit, not follow Tupu's line so much. The tide is going out, so there could be a little bit of an advantage somewhere along the line. They're both looking in good condition at the moment. Casey's having little charges. You see his little bursts of speeds there. When he feels the water, he'll lift up his rate and he'll have a little push. You can see there is a bit of movement in the water at the moment. They're both slicing through a bit of boat wake that passed through earlier. But if Casey can keep pushing on the inside of Tupu going up to this first turn, he may get the advantage going around the turn, which is what Casey should be looking for. Tupu is looking really strong though. They are both having good technique as we just go through some boat wake. But yeah, enjoy these shots here. It's nice with the glistening water. And just watching these two guys with their good technique, two world champions, first and second in the world at the World Sprints this year in England.
Ai, nau mai, hoki mai, e tātou mā ki tā tātou pāpāhotanga, e tō ainoa ki ana i ngā kōrero a Paul Rosendale, tētahi o ngā pakoko tawhito tēnei hākina, e kitea ki ana tātou e paku ripo ana te wai, e kārei te mōhio mehemea he āwhinatanga nuitanga tērā, engari e kitea ki ana koutou ko Tupu King tērā kei mua tata, kei muri tata mai i aia ko Casey Ngātaki. Did you predict this to be what would be happening in 46 minutes?
Yeah, definitely, and they'll be starting to think about their strategy to finish off now. They're probably up at that top end of the course and then rounding to come home, down that long straight around the back there. So they'll be thinking about what they want to do next and especially maintaining that long straight that we've known to have over the years. But young Casey's right there with him. Taking a different line at the moment, and you can see they're both taking advantage of those little bumps and those little wake that's coming off some of the boats that are out there at the moment. So yeah, you can see right there.
And we're very fortunate to have another mātanga kaihoi in Kingy Gilbert, our producer, who's telling us that the pace that they're holding at the moment is not too far off the pace required for a sprint. So when you to break that down into a 14 to 16k race, at that pace, by golly, we're working with athletes here, we're watching athletes, they're here to rumble. You don't have someone who comes from Manukau to Waitangi to play marbles, ne?
Yep, that's right.
So they're here because he wants to be known as the champion Waka Ama, not only for short distance in the world, but for long distance. But it's going to have to take for him to take out Tupu King, who's from here. And you have a few masters behind him, and Mark Malaki Williams in 5th place, to my understanding. Engari i tēnei wāne, he wants to show the world why he's the world champion. At the moment, in 2nd place, and in these dying minutes, ka ki te pēr tātai Casey Ngātaki ka whakātu mai te take, e noho ana ko ia te ika āwhiro te ao.
E tika ana, ai marika, ti tiro ki a rāua. So yeah, you can see those little bumps probably coming off those boats at the moment, and you can see Casey, those little pushes that he gets at, catches those little bumps and gives them a bit of an advantage to get that boat speed up, that va'a speed up. Yeah, beautiful.
Up until the World Sprints, I'd like to say that you could call Tupu King the GOAT of Waka Ama, greatest of all time. The reason why I say that is because before him, you had people like Maui Kelson from the north here. He went over to Untitled, come 3rd at the time. I would call him the GOAT. Then you had Peter Williams. Then you had a plethora of kaihoi after him, but not to the extent that Tupu King has shown his wares when it comes to Waka Ama in the world. Not only has he raced at Super Aito, but some sixes in Tahiti as well. The Hawaii Nui Va'a and the Molokai Hoi dominated the singles Waka Ama for about 4 or 5 years now. But I think it's a testament to the growth of our sport, having people like Casey Ngātaki chomping at his heels. And at the moment, we might see a transition from one gate to another. in this race as Tupu King still holds it, but by all means, with the experience he holds, he should be there or thereabouts, but Casey Ngātaki is definitely an up-and-comer.
Yeah, you always got those young puru, coming up behind him and that, but that experience, hopefully with Tupu and his experience and his long distance paddling that he's been, just recently done in Hawaii, will help him get through. But we'll have to see as they come around their top mark. But yeah, definitely the experience that he's gained from paddling with our Tahitian and Hawaiian whānau up in the islands is just beautiful to see. But the cool thing too is that he's bringing all that back to us as well. He's not holding on to that himself. He's sharing his knowledge, he's sharing his experience that he's got to earn over the last few years.
I recall a whakatauki by Ben Mamaku, or Tipene Mamaku, who was paramount in the whole Wakataua scene. And he said that te manuka i te miro, nōna te ngahere, te manuka i te mātauranga, nōna te ao engari. He wā tōna me whāngai te manukai i te mātauranga i ngā manukai i te miro. So when it comes to Tupu King, not only is he a champion in his own right, but he's also the coach of the Open Men's Elite team, and he also holds his different tutorials or his different wānanga for people who want to learn from him. So by all means, not only has he been a kaihoi, but he's commodified his mātauranga, he's made a living of his mātauranga, but that winning mentality doesn't belong to him, but his whānau, his mother, his father, his sisters, they all champions in their own right.
Yeah.
And his partner, Taylor Nathan Wong, a sevens player. So I'm guessing their Christmas dinners are actually quite healthy. Their whānau feasts are actually quite healthy, and I'm sure seeing abs in their whānau is quite normal.
Yeah.
Similarly to my whānau. Anyway, it's not about me. We have...
E hara ko tāku.
E hara taku toa i te toa takitahi, sort of a kōrero.
Oh,
Engari, very fortunate to be here, and unfortunately, Waka Ama had to postpone this race due to the COVID restrictions. But once those doors opened again, kua whai wāhia tātou tamariki ki te ao o te whare tapere, and kua whai wāhia tātou kaihoi ki tō rātou nā moana me nei whakatautau. So when it comes to the resurgence of te ao Māori, it's happening again, and in very Māori forms with Waka Ama and Kapahaka.
E tikana tō kōrero Mataya. We saw that was very evident last night at our pōwhiri. Te nuinga o ngā whānau ko tai mai, ki tēnei o ngā whenua o Waitangi, rawe atu ki te tūtaki, te menenga, te nuinga o ngā whānau ko tai mai. Engari, ai rongo au ki tō kōrero e pānaki a Tyler. She's racing today. Yeah, she's racing today. This is her first official race, and I do have to say it's with Te Puao. Kia ora. So we're looking forward to having her in the waka with Jamil and our whanaunga in the third race today.
Ka pai, so can you give me a little indication on the Waka Ama clubs from here? You have Mitamitanga, Ole Pacifica, Va'aalo, you have Te Puao, Ngā Hoihoro. Who are some other some clubs from this takiwa?
Yeah, definitely. We have our two OG clubs, 30, 40 years we've been going now, and definitely Mitamitanga, Ole Pacifica, Ngā Hoihoro, they're our two karapu matua. We have Te Puao in Whangarei, we have Parihaka Waka Ama in Whangarei. Here in Waitangi we have Kotuku, based in Waitangi here, and our co-host of our event this weekend. We have our Takiwera clubs from over in Dargaville. We have our club over there. Also up in Ngāti Rehia, Ngā Kaihoi o Ngāti Rehia, with Uncle Danny and his whānau over there in Te Ti, based out of Lake Manuai. And then we head further north, Ngā Hoihoro Rangaunu with our Whaia Hilda and her whānau there, Rangaunu. And ko tērā o ngā karapu, a taku aroha mehe mea e misi ana ki te wetahi o ngā whānau. Kia ora.
Ai, kia ora ki taku mōhio kua tētahi o ngā waka ki uta. We're very fortunate to have the ability to have an intimate interview with some of our kaihoi out there at the moment. Kia whakawhitia ke tātou, kia rātou i nāia nei.
Kia ora Kiwi. My name is Miki Pepe. I'm from Manukau, battle for from Auckland, and battle for Waka Ama New.
Come on. Kia ora bro. Been here Canoe. Just travelled up from Taranaki. Near paddling for these guys, Taranaki Outriggers Canoe Club. And that's the club I paddle for, and I'm paddling with the New Zealand Para team tomorrow.
Chair, now just tell us what's your biggest kaupapa and what's the big take that you fellas come here for?
The paddle, I suppose. This has been my first nationals, so yeah, I'm just soaking up everything and just trying to learn.
Yeah. For me, I love the long distance waka race. I think, I'm built for that.
Yeah, now it's a bit of a strategy. If you see if the wind's coming against you, what's a bit of a strategy to go faster?
Ooh, we gotta pump it, You gotta pump it, short stroke, and but I have to be quick in the water to go in the wind. But the fun bit, coming down downwind is watch us on that one. We'll be surfing.
And so you fellas got a bit of a record here at these races?
Ooh. No, not really. But we better for Adaptive New Zealand team. We just came back from UK with bling. Yeah.
Oh, can you tell us a bit about the experience over in the UK?
Oh, bro.
Well, that's a very awesome experience, especially for my first time paddling. And I haven't even paddled in New Zealand.
Hey, even believe that? 3 months in the preparation, and he's off to UK, man, banging it in UK.
Yeah, thank you fellas. Any last words to our audience or to your fellas bros or whatever?
Good luck to everybody tomorrow. Go hard.
Be safe out
Mana.
there.
Cheers. Thank you fellas. Cheers. Bros. Thank you.
Oh. Ai, kare mā, kei te ki te koutou whānui ake ana te whārua. I wainga nui Tupu King rāua ko Casey Ngātaki. Experience seems to prevail here. With, to my understanding, it's Tupu King ahead. Ai, e tika ana tērā. Their mental strength, that experience is starting to kick in there, Hamatua.
Yeah, definitely, and that gap has widened a bit there, and they're probably crossing over that top end of the course, and then we'll turn around and head back to shore and finish off there. So beautiful. Look at that big long stroke that we've known Tupu to have over the years.
If I was out there, I'd be sucking the kumara in at about 40 minutes ago. Nō reira, e mihi ake ana ki tōna mōhio how his mental game and his strategies with regards to salvaging his energy and knowing when to put those bursts in, knowing when he thinks he has the upper hand to be able to take out Casey Ngātaki. By all means, it's a case of where to invest your energy, how to invest your energy, and how much energy to exhaust at the right time. So it's not just a case of go hard or go home, but it's how hard and when to go hard. Ne?
Especially with our endurance races, and knowing how much energy they do need to expend. And but as you can see, Tupu nice and comfortable there, and that big long stroke, he'll put in those little quick ones if there's a bit of a bump. But yeah, he's looking comfortable there, and nicely done out there.
Ai, e kare mai mātakitaki ake ana koutou i Tupuria King. Kei konei e whakātu mai ana kaua i te mana whenuatanga, engari te mana waitanga, i te mana moanatanga. Ko ia anō hoki tētai, a sponsored athlete of whaiwaa. You can see he is currently in a whaiwaa. Tētahi o ngā waka tino hira o tēnei ao. How much do those waka weigh, Matua?
Probably the one he's in now is be around 12 kg. 12, 14 kg is the carbon one. So yeah, nice and light, and being able to, the other thing too is making sure that you're able to control and know how to paddle your va'a even though they're lighter.
And I think Tupu himself and another kaihoi from Waka Ama New, they had a bit of a dabble in the K1. And I think just to understand the water, their water knowledge, whether it be in a rowing waka, in a Waka Ama or a K1, gives you a bit of an advantage in terms of knowing how to read the moana. And as they make their last turn, you see there's a little ripple behind them from those boats, probably using that as a form of assistance. But Casey Ngātaki as well in one of these 5Rs, so you can't blame the waka. It's going to come down to having to blame the strategy, kai, preparation, but as you can see, he's picking up his pace a little bit more and drawing that distance a little closer.
Yeah, definitely, because they'll be thinking about, we're on the home straight now, so young Casey will be going, you see his armour flying there, he's putting all that that pressure on the right hand side, but he'll be thinking about, well, it's time to put in the big ones. As you can see, he's closing that gap, heading down to that finish line.
Nei, e tata mai nei, nā kia mohio mai koutou. Aotearoa, e toki ana Aotearoa, a experts in the short distance, meaning that e toki ana tātai I roto I ngā hoinga tere. Nā e kite ake ana koutou, e kua ahua tere ake te manawa taki hoi a te tokorua nei. And there might be something that Tupu would have to think about. Casey is a sprinter, so when it comes to this last leg, by all means, he's going to bring the fire. And as you can see, he is bringing their fire, but can he maintain their fire once he catches up to Tupu? Is it a case of bringing the heat as he gets to Tupu and continuing that heat, or bringing the heat and matching Tupu's rhythm? Mā taki mai e karema kia pai ai tā tātou ki te hea te rautaki ia rāuatahi ka umai ki uta e tatana tō tātou kamera. We have a camera and we have a drone just to give us a better understanding of what it's like out there. But as you can see, Casey Ngātaki is pulling Tupu in.
Just at that last turn, we saw Tupu make a little breakaway, and we've gone through the turn now. Casey's just made a big charge, and he got right onto the back of Tupu's tail. And as you can see, Casey's changed his line. He's decided to go to the right. So he's going to the right, which will be a little bit sheltered from the tide. Tupu might be taking a little bit more of the tide than what Casey is. And Casey's upped his rate. This is the last leg. There's only about 2.5 Ks left to go, maybe 3 Ks. And there's about 2 boat lengths between them. They are a little bit separated though. They are 50 metres apart in water. But again, Casey may have the advantage from hiding from the tide a little bit. At the moment, they're going really well. It was pretty good strategy from Casey to tuck in behind Tupu. He made those gains. Now let's see if this strategy will pay off, because he's just gone away a little bit. You can see Casey working hard. He knows he's coming up to the finish. He's beaten Tupu in his last few races, and you know he really wants to try and beat him again. You see him working, they're pushing hard into the tide. This is the hardest part of the race. It is flat and they're just going into a treadmill. Their body will be aching. You can see Casey's just grabbing a drink. He's going to need some fuel to get through the last few Ks. Nice and smooth, Casey.
Ai, e whike mai nei koutou e karema, ko Casey Ngātaki tēnei. Me tahi o ngā mātauranga tuku I hoi a Paul Rosendale ki a tātou e ki mai ana. Casey Ngātaki has probably taken the better route in the last 2 Ks as they draw near home. Ki taku mohio ko Casey Ngātaki tērā, kārei te mohio koe kei mua, koe kei muri I tēnei wānei, ngari I whai wāhi atu ia ki te ngongo I tana wai, nā te mea ko te 2 kiromita e toi mai ana ka noho, koe nei te pi oro me te ene oro o tēnei rehi, ahakoa rāua e tata nei te timatanga, this will be the make or break to show us, for Aotearoa, for the world to see who the greatest is between the two in a long distance race.
Yeah, we got the young guns coming through, and as you can see, we've got Tupuria King right there, and he'll be thinking about what he's going to do next and keeping an eye on Casey. You'll see him have a little look to the side to see, checking out where he is, you know. So, koia tērā o ngā mātanga o tēnei o we'll see. There you go, a little look to the side from Tupu out there, and as they come down to those last couple of Ks, and they'll pump it, The couple of Ks for them be a bit of a sprint, so they'll love these two as they come down to the finish.
All their preparation has led to this, ko a rātou whakangungu katoa, ngā rautaki katoa, ka taka mai ki tēnei. Now, the distance between them could be the make or break. The early exhaustion of energy by Casey Ngātaki might actually break him in this when he gets closer to Tupu, but by all means, e noho ana ki ēnei kiromita whakamutunga, te tohu ki mai ki a tātou, nā wai te huarahi, nō wai te huarahi pai, nā wai ngā whakaharatau pai, e ahua tītaha ana te kāmera I tēnei wānei, no re kāre te tino mōhio koe e wiki tōri ana, kāre o ki tātou te kite te rārangi whakamutunga, we can't see the finishing boys, so we really don't know how far away they are from each other, and this angle is a bit warped with regards to giving us an indication on who's winning, but it's definitely here in first and second place. Third, I think Mark Malaki or Tere Tere is in third place, but at the moment the battle is here between Tupu King and Casey Ngātaki.
Yeah, and good to see, Mark right up there too. He's one of the great coaches of Waka Ama New, and awesome to see the young fellas that he's been coaching, both him and Brad, when Brad's around as well, and the mahi that they're doing with our young men down there in Manukau with Waka Ama New. So it'll be cool to see Mark not too far behind his young trainees and those ones that he's tukua tana aroha kia rātou.
And as we draw closer to the finish line, Tupu King still holds their first position I tēnei wānei e ai ki ngā kāmera. E kite ana koutou I te matatopa I tērā wā, I tēnei wā, mo taku he. Engari, e kite ana koutou I uta I tēnei wā, ka rei te mōhio kei hea ngā poito e mōhio ai tātou kei hea te rārangi whakamutunga. Engari, kua tīmata te whakahohoro tia o te manawataki, we can see the pace picking up a little bit, especially here with Casey Ngātaki, a sprinter himself, but Tupu King showing great form as a veteran in the sport and the experience he's gained in his time in Tahiti and Hawaii. Ka noho pēr koeira te take kāwiki tōria ia, engari ka rei te pirangi peti ko ia te toa I tēnei, ka toa rānei tēnei rehi, engari I tēnei wā. I tēnei wā ko ia e arahi ana I roto I te kiromita whakamutunga pēr.
Tēnā, kei mua tana ihu I tēnā o ngā wako Casey. Still paddling nice and smooth out there as Tupu King. Hopefully he's just holding off young Casey there as they come down to those last kilometre and a bit as they come down.
E ngaki ana tupu i ngā mate o ngā whakataitai ao i Ingarangi i roto i ngā marama tata nei. E whakātu mai ana ia ki a tātou ki te hunga mātakitaki, ka ore anō i tō te rā ki a hau. A tai whakautai ki mai, he kau mātua a hau, he aha rānei. He's still showing that he can dabble with some of these young bucks. And people like Casey Ngātaki, they're fortunate to have come under the wings of people you've made mention of, the Waka Manu Red, Waka Manu Black, and probably what led to him being in that elites team that was coached by Tupu. So we have the world champ here in second place at the moment, the national champ, and we have a fast pace here by Casey Ngātaki, hoping to draw that gap between them a little closer, especially as we come into the final strokes of this race.
Ai, a tāhua rawati. E koe tētahi o ngā kōrero mai te haukainga, te ahi kā i ngā pōra e pāniki wā tūpuna, me ngā whakairo i iriri mai, ai roti tō tātou nei whare o te tiriti o Waitangi, ngā ko rāhiri tērā, ko hongi hika tērā, ko hone heke tērā, ngā tūpuna i para tēnei o ngā whenua i auara. Nō reira, ko kite wenei o ngā hua i roto i tēnei o tātou nei kaihoi a Tupuria King, no te kāinga nei, no paueringa ia, nō reira, ka hānea ki te hakapai tēnei o te reihi tuatahi, o tēnei o te whakataitai āmotu, o te hoaroa, Waka Ama hoi roa a i tēnei wā.
Ai, ki taku mōhio ko ngā kōrero kone ki ana, e kau ki te tai e kau ki te tai e. Wā, hi atu rā te ngaru huka o marere i au. Nānei, te uri a Tupuria King, whai ana i ngā tapua i ngā miru. O ana tūpuna o nuku tawhiti mā, o kupe mā, i ai e hoi ana i runga i ngā wai māreparepa o te pē whairangi i waho tata mai i tō tātai whare o te tī i konei i Waitangi Tupuria King. E whakātu mai ana ki a tātou ngā take e toa tonu ana ia. Now, Casey Ngātaki catching a little bump. Very lucky in that regard. Nā te mea papa paunamu ana te moana, any little assistance is going to draw you closer to a first place. Nō reira, ko Casey Ngātaki tēnei tuarua mai ana, let's see what he has, or whether he's held back a little bit. Let's see what he can bring in these last metres of our national long distance championships here at Te Pē Whairangi.
Ai, as they just look to see as they come past the treaty grounds, eh? The treaty grounds, as Tupu and Casey come past there, they'll be pumping in those last strokes as they come to finish. As we get an awesome drone shot, there they are, just coming past the treaty grounds now, Tupuria King, and we'll see if there's going to be a little push by Casey behind them.
Tupuria King. E ranga ana i tēnei wānei, the Māori term for their long stroke, I think in Tahiti they call it a hūti.
Hūti.
E tia, rave, a fast stroke. So they dabbling between the two based on how much petrol or diesel they have left in their waka. Trying to salvage as much energy as possible for their last 500 metres, because we know for a fact that both of them will bring the heat. So Tupu King is trying to gain a bit more of an advantage before the jet fuel in Casey Ngātaki's waka launches him and propels him forward.
Nā toke mata whaurua i muri i aia.
Whai whakaaro ana ki te korauara ki a heke nuku mai, pūhepi. Me te waka o ngā hiraka kei te moana i tēnei wānei. E tahi o ngā torotoronga o te revival of waka. I Aotearoa nei, it was a Wakataua thing, and then Nainoa Thompson came here. Wānanga, had a wānanga with our pāpā heke nuku, and then we have the birth of Te Haurere and the birth of ngā hiraka. and waka ama, waka tete, waka tangata, all part and parcel of that revival. I spoke to a Tongan once upon a time, and he was speaking about passing criticism over our waka ama, and he goes, "What's the rush? Where are you all in a rush to?" They're different worldviews. Tātou he rehi, rātou haere ki te hi ika. Regardless, kei te hoi tātou, koe rā te mea nui.
Ei, ko hoki tērā o ngā kōrero o tētahi o ngā rangatira, ko hingea nā ko Chris Kelson tēnā.
Kia ora.
Me mai ia kia hai why you marry is not a paddle waka. Hey,
Kia ora.
why you not fishing the waka? And I remember him telling me these stories, you know, when he first wanted to get our waka started back in the mid-80s, and hooking up with Matahi and Papa Pili.
Kia ora.
So yeah, anei ngā hua o tā rātou whakaaroa, tā rātou timatanga o tēnei o ngā āhuatanga o te waka.
Ka pai, and just to heighten our presence in Aotearoa, we thought it'd be great not only to practice te reo Māori, but kapahaka is another form of expanding our existence here in Aotearoa. Te reo Māori, waka ama, kapahaka, e rā mea katoa no reira. He wāhanga katoa e nei no te whakareuoratanga, and as we make our way back to shore, we have Tupuria King, who I think, to his understanding, based on body language, he hasn't looked back to Casey Ngātaki for some time, so I think he knows he's ahead. We know he's ahead. And at the moment, ladies and gentlemen, with an hour, 15 minutes, the distance he's covered, close to 14 kilometres at the moment. I'm sure his peers in Tahiti and Hawaii will be cheering him on as they watch our live broadcast here at the Waitangi here in Waitangi. But Tupuria King, no questions about it. Tupuria King is winning at the moment, and we'll give the official breakdown on first look back in some time. He knows he can kick back a little bit and reserve some energy for the W6s that will unfold over the course of our coverage e kare mai.
And depending too whether he does the OC1, which is the next race. As he comes across the finish line, there he is, our champion for 2022, Tupuria King.
Donna Brand, trained like a king. He has multiple wānanga happening to help aspiring champions. A little behind him is Casey Ngātaki. Kāre te mōhio I tēnei wānei, kei te mōhio rānei koe, whether the part of the first prize is a trip to Tahiti, to the Aitors, are there any perks in winning a race? Matua?
Koe ko te mana.
Kāori tū atu.
Tēnā pēr me kōrero ati kia Lara, hea hanga hua mō tēnei.
So can you please just give us a little breakdown on the difference between the OC1s and the W1s? Yeah. Is it a rudder thing, rudderless?
Yeah, definitely. So our tāne there just finished in our va'a, our Tahitian va'a, waka, our rudderless canoes. So a lot of skill goes into just steering them while we're paddling, eh? And the difference is, with our OC1s, our outrigger canoes, have the rudders on them, so you're using your foot pedals to steer your canoe, but what that does also is creates a bit of drag in terms of how your waka glides, eh? So yeah.
Tēnā koe. Kei konei hoki ngā waka topa. Arei te mōhio mehemea ki te mātakitaki a tātou ki te aha rānei. Engari, it's a vibe here. It's a vibe here at Waitangi. We have our hauora Māori out there paddling, showing us what they've been doing in terms of their training that led them here. The marae's vibe here at the marae, all our ringawera are up, feeding our manuhiri. But at the moment, ko Jono tēnei, ko Wairane.
Tere behind them.
Tere behind them.
Apai.
tere formidable in the under 19s and under 23s in the short distance. And showing that he can also dabble with some of the champions in the long distance.
One of our leaders too of our Peniola club, you know, our strong clubs from Tāmaki.
As they come to the finishing line, we've had Tupu King. For those of you who have just chimed into our coverage, Tupuria King has taken out the long distance of Va'a, meaning raraless waka, which is a smorgasbord, which holds a smorgasbord of issues. Not only do you have to paddle and propel your waka forward, but you also have to steer paddle. So often if the wind is high, you might be on the left side for 100 strokes and on the right for 1. But those are some of the difficulties that some of our kaihoi have to face when it comes to racing in a va'a. But as our matua Ralph said earlier, in the AC1s you have the option of a rara that helps propel your waka forward in a straight line, but that also creates a bit of drag. At the moment we have our 3rd place skitter and our 4th place skitter in Tere Tere.
Ka pai, as we see Tere just come back around that finishing buoy. There you have it. 4th place overall. He'll be happy with that, especially in the open men division. Tere Tere out there from Peniola. I believe Jono was a master paddler, so...
First for a master. And 3rd
overall.
Koutou kātahi anō ka whakatata mai ki tā tātou pāpāhotanga. We're very fortunate to have watched the majestic Tupuria King take out the long distance Waka Ama Nationals here at Waitangi, and following behind him was Casey Ngātaki, the current world champ short sprints that unfolded earlier this year. So e mihi ake ana ki te tokorua ra taku mōhio i te tīmatanga in our first round. They were neck and neck. And then they moved on to Tupu took the lead there, ka āhua whānui ake te whānui e Wainganui i a Raiwa. Engari e tino ki te tātou i ngā wheako. We were fortunate to experience and watch the skill set that Tupu brought, and that comes off the back of a lot of things, spending time in Tahiti, spending time in Hawaii, but for Tupu to take it out here in his hometown, it'll be quite a moment for him, ne hamatua.
Yeah, definitely, and e mihi ki aia, mihi ana ki aia, he definitely, because I know how Tupu works. You know, he loses one race, that's a motivation for him to get back up there. So he would love to have got this one today, and especially being in home territory as well, up here in Te Tai Tokerau.
Nā e noho ana ko ia te nāia nei o ngā mea pene ia Maui Kelson, Andy Penny, Rob Kaiwai, I muri mai i tērā whakareanga i tāmaki Peter Williams, i roto rua Burn Summer, nā ko tupuria te toa whakaihuaka i tēnei wānei, te toa mō ngā rehi pota short sprints champion, national champion, Casey Ngātaki world champion, now long distance champion ko tupuria King anō. Koe nei te kāinga o te tiriti o Waitangi ki te ake ana kouta i tēnei wānei, no reira mihi ake ana ki ngā tūtohu whenua, ki ngā maunga, ki tēnei moana, ki te iwi, ki ngā hapu, ki ngā whānau manaki mai nei tā tātou kaupapa. Tēnā koe matua te haukanga, te reo te haukanga mihi nei whakatau mai nei ia mātou.
Tēnā koe, nōku te waimarie ki te tūhono i tō tahi i tēnei ata no reira tēnā koe, tēnā tātou.
We didn't fully. No. Can someone give us a name on who the wahine? What Ina?
Was that Ina? I think that's Ina and Papa Maori. Kia ora tātou, ko hoki mai tātou ki tēnei o ngā wahanga. As we see some of our OC1 canoe come in with our wahine out there on the water. I think I seen Papa Maori and Ina Maru out there on the W2 come across the finish line. But we still have some of our wahine out there, so mihi ana kia rātou. Ano hoki ki ngā taitamariki. Rātou I roto I tērā o ngā reihi o ngā junior 19s. They would have done one round, so we probably missed them at the finish. But as you can see, some of our paddlers, these will be our men. But out there still is our wahine, te mano o te wahine, e hoi ana, e tatana rātou ki te mutunga o tēnei o te reihi tuatahi.
E tahi o ngā kai hoi, hoi tonu mai nei ki uta. Kia mōhio mai koutou, for those of you who have just tuned in to our broadcast. Ko ngā reihi te hunga I raro I hoi te tekau maono, the J16s, J19s and under 23s ki taku mōhio kua mutuke. Ko tahi ana ke te hurihanga. Engari te wāhi ki ngā open men's me runga ake e rua rawa ngā hurihanga no reira. Wairua toa, unfortunately, we didn't quite broadcast those races purely because I te aro ke tātou ki te open men's me tērā rehi mutunga ke mai nei o te hirahira. Nā kua tai ke mai ngā taitamariki ki uta. Engari e kite ake ana koutou, we have some masters men, W2s and W3s as well. They're making their way to the finish line. And here we are at the time of 1 hour, 28 minutes, 53 seconds. Taki wā pēo te ono te kaua no waka. E hoi ana, kia tai mai ai rātou ki uta. Nau mai, hoki mai, e kare mai e koutou, e mātakitaki mai nei tā tātou pāpāhotanga mai o koutou nā marae kāinga putano i te motu. Ai, kei konei māua kei te marae o te tī, kei waho atu i te whare o te tiriti o Waitangi, ko te pē whairangi tēnei e mihi atu nei ki a koutou. Kātahi tonu koutou ka mātakitaki i tētahi pakanga mutunga ke mai nei o te hore titi, hore tata gruesome battle between two champions in their own right, Tupuria King, national champion, versus Casey Ngātaki, world champion, with a mob of kaihoi from across the country, not only in W1s, but W2s, W3s and OC1s, anō hoki. Hei te papa, what's been your highlight of that race?
Oh, you know, just seeing all our kaihoi out there again, and it's been a long time between drinks. You know, so to have a major event out there again, especially with our waka whānau, they were all excited last night and ready to race this morning, and as we saw from that race, with tatangi 150 kaihoi on the water in one race, you know, just tāhua to see, and you know, just the excitement probably of seeing our kaihoi, seeing our whānau back on the water in a major event.
Ai, e mihi ake ana ki ngā kaihoi katoa, i whakaheke wera i whakapaukaha. Kia rangatirai, tēnei re hituatahi e kare mai. That's our first race for the day. Please stay tuned when we transition into the second race. There are going to be some more fiery, electrifying races throughout the coverage, not only today but tomorrow as well. Kia utonu mai rā koutou, kei konei māua, ko takapapa, ko Ralph, kei te moana, ko Paul Rosendale, kei te whira, ko hina tētahi atu o ngā kai pāpāho i tā tātou kaupapa nui whakaharahara, ko ngā whakataitai Waka Ama hoiroa e nei, e tū nei ki Waitangi, e tū nei ki te pēwhairangi, utonu mai ki tā tātou pāpāhotanga. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou.